This is Short Hammer. It is the 1st of December, 2019, and we're taking a look at Tesla. Now, ever since the announcement of the Cybertruck, Tesla has been selling off. And what we want to watch for here on Tesla, the initial drop on that first candle from the 22nd, the low of that candle was 330. So we went from 355 down to 330. And if you look at where we are now, we have not had a candle based on what I have here. That we have right here. So we're still right in this area, this near this 330. And what I'm watching for is one of two things. Do we breach the 324 area and then we go to the downside to test the 309s and potentially lower? Or do we consolidate above this 324, 25-ish area and see buyers step in and push us back up towards the 344s? I will be watching for that on Tesla. What I'm noticing is that each successive day, you've seen the volume decrease as far as selling pressure. So we need an increase in this volume, an increase, or should I say, a lack of hope of buying for this thing to roll and give us more downside. And I'll be watching for that next week. What's interesting about Tesla is that I have a longer term Tesla thesis that I'll get to right after I finish with this. So what I'm watching for going into Monday, I'm going to watch this 324-ish, 325-ish area. And I want to see if do we see more selling pressure below this, and do we break this to the downside? If we don't break this and we continue to go sideways and we see some higher highs here, like getting back above these what's this 334 into the 335 area, we might have a little bit of buying to squeeze us back into the 340s. So that's what I'll be watching for on Tesla, is a break of this range here to either squeeze us to the upside, or weakness and selling pressure to squeeze us to the downside and approaching the 309, 310-ish area. So we'll see what happens on Tesla. We could also see some buying here in the 318s. So we'll see how that shakes out on Tesla. I'll actually just draw a quick line here just in case, where I could keep an eye. I'll keep an eye on that area, make this green. Just looking at the daily chart. Okay, now to my Tesla thesis. Other than I like the company, and I don't think the Cybertruck looks that bad. I've seen much worse trucks. So the interesting thing about Tesla is if you go to the weekly chart, go to our weekly. My thesis on Tesla has been this. Let me zoom out so you can see kind of what I've got here. When Tesla buys up above the 350s, start building your short position. And you need to build this thing out probably about a quarter or so. So be about three to 6 months out. Start building your short position. Now, can this blow up in your face? Yes, it can. It's possible that this can blow up in your face. But right above these 350s, you get in, start building a short position. And as this squeezes to the upside, I'll be building my short position still. And I wouldn't build it in between here. I'll wait for the next zone here, and I'll add another position, average this down. And if we see bullish candle formations above this and we start to buy up into the 1400s, then I would either do one of two things: cut my short position and get long, or start to trade long against my short position. When you get short longer term, what you should be doing is intraday hedging yourself by taking whatever you are short, or if you're long term, either direction that you're long term, you should be intraday trading or short term trading if it's moving against your position, just to hedge yourself and cover your six. So what I'm watching here is above here, you get short. And then when you fall below the 260s, begin building your short position. And if you look at this, since you can take it all the way back to the 29th of March 2017, Since then, this has worked out well for anyone that's taken this bet that Tesla won't spend too much time above the 350s, and Tesla also won't spend too much time below the 260s. Weird thesis. I've played it a few times, and it's worked out quite well. And so, my point being, when you look at the higher time frame on Tesla, the buyers don't seem to be as motivated when it gets above the 350s. We see some buying, but the chances for rejection are high. And this isn't something where you go all in on your account. It's just something where you may take some shares or take some contracts here, and it's a risk you're taking based on the historical chart patterns. So that's what I'm watching on Tesla. And am I surprised that we're back below 350? No. Could there be buying that pushes back up here? Yeah, it's possible. There could be news, but earnings looks to be scheduled about the 27th of January. I wouldn't be surprised if we pull back, and then as we go into the new year, buyers begin to step in when they see less risk, when they see more potential upside. So we can see what happens with this. But just giving you this small thesis that I've had on Tesla, like above the 350, start to look for short positions or building your short position. Below the 260s, look to build your long position on Tesla. So we'll see how this all shakes out. But just watching this, when we breached this and we head down, like I don't automatically, well, we're below 260, I'm getting short immediately. No, I wait for higher lows, higher highs, and then I slide in and take my position. And for me, as something moves in my direction, I scale some out. I lock in some profits, cover my six. But that's my idea on Tesla. You see what I'm looking at next week, and we'll see what happens on this longer term. But just watching this, and in any area where I say, oh, just start building your short position or start building your long position, I look for entries on the intraday chart, on the shorter term chart for my longer term positions where I'm in at an advantageous area where if I decide that I don't like what I'm seeing either from a news standpoint or from a chart standpoint, I can easily exit for minimum loss or exit green. So I'm each trade I take, I'm always taking some off the table to hedge and cover my six, to just not be as exposed to what they may do in the market as possible, but to always have some skin in the game to be able to ride something out longer term, and also be able to build my position at different supply demand levels when I see the confirmation of what I believe is happening.